And hello, everybody. Welcome to Sunday night and Ask Us Anything. I'm Mike Wendland, and I am all alone tonight. Jennifer, I might as well get this out of the way. Actually, if you listened to last week's podcast, you would know that she's not feeling well. I'm not going to go this whole debacle with her botched procedure that put her in cardiac care, intensive care 6 weeks ago, but she hadn't felt good. She's got slowly getting her strength back, but she's had this horrible cough that has gotten nothing but worse. And if you listened to the podcast this past week, you heard her. She had trouble actually, doing our podcast segment. So the reason why is because she has been diagnosed with full-blown streptococcal pneumonia, and she is under pretty strict doctor's orders to take it easy, which she's not doing very well doing. Caught her vacuuming the studio here a little while ago tonight. But she still is coughing a lot particularly when she talks. So she's not with me tonight. I hope she can be with me on the podcast this week, but that might not happen either. So she wants you to know that she's feeling better every day. And we're hoping that we're going to turn a corner. She's on some pretty strong antibiotics to clear up this pneumonia. And we're looking forward to getting back in the proverbial saddle for those happy trails she keeps talking about. So that is why I'm alone tonight. And it feels really strange to be the only one here because I keep looking over there to get her comments. So thanks to Chris Callie, who's over on YouTube, and Phyllis Carr, who's helping with all the questions and the Facebook groups. We're simulcasting this, of course, on Facebook, our group, our supporters group, and look who just popped in. You cannot come on the air.
I know, because I don't know when I'm going to cough and carry on, but you are not alone.
See?
There's a little stink bug right there.
Oh, okay. I got a stink bug. Stink bugs. Anybody else having a problem with stink bugs? They're all over the place. So
I heard your explanation. You left off my friend the ventilator.
Yeah, well, that's where we thought that's how we thought that's how she caught it. There she goes.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that's how we think she caught it, actually, is through this ventilator that she was on for 27 hours. You don't want to hear our medical stuff or her medical stuff, but anyway, that's why she is not with me. So thank you all for understanding that. Lots of you online tonight, and we're delighted to see you. Couple of quick things because we're getting towards the Christmas time. In fact, already most of the businesses we'll get back to you after the first of the year. What are they going to do for the next 2.5 weeks? They're not going to work? Apparently not. But I know one thing. If you're looking for some of our merch, like our cool hoodies, this is one of my favorites, outdoors. Isn't that cool? And you better order them like in the next day or two because you won't get them in time for Christmas. So we got lots of cool merch on there. Go check it all up. That's the address on the bottom of your screen. And I'd get your orders in right about now because it gets really crazy to try and get your stuff delivered before Christmas. So if you want them before Christmas, get your order in. But you should be used to that kind of stuff. Okay, then we want to talk about our holiday schedule. We will be here next week with another Ask Us Anything. And then we're getting towards Christmas. Christmas Eve is a Sunday, so we're not going to do it then. New Year's Eve is a Sunday, so we won't have one there. So next week will be the last one until the next year. And then I think we come back, I think it's January 7th. January 7th, yeah. So that's when we'll come back on Sunday after next week with Ask Us Anything. We'll take the podcast, we'll do the last podcast of the year will be on the 20th of December, and then we'll come back right after on the, whatever that is, the 3rd or the 4th of January. We'll be back with podcasts. So take a little bit left. All right, let's take a quick look and see what we can do with questions. Lots of you there, and I know a lot of you, I can see all the stuff about hoping Jen feels better and all that stuff, and thank you. I'm not going to put all those up. But we do appreciate your prayers and everybody being so kind to us and to Jen. She appreciates that. Elaine Olson's wondering if a 25-foot RV will be able to navigate the suggestions on our Natchez Trail book or video. That it's a book. She didn't buy our video. She bought a book, and she looks forward to exploring it. Yes, absolutely. That was what we were in. We were in a 25-foot leisure travel van Class C motorhome, and we had no problems delaying anywhere along the line there. We got in every place we needed to go, and we saw much bigger ones. We saw people towing trailers. So, there's a couple of spots that are clearly marked no RVs, and that's where there's just not a lot of turnaround room. But there's only a couple of those, and you cannot miss the signs. So don't worry, you'll find it. It's just fine. You just drive right in, and it'll say, "Don't go in here," and you just keep on going. So 25 foot is not a problem at all, and you'll enjoy it. And that's one of our most popular books this year. A lot of people are planning to do the trail next year, and we really are thrilled. I should give you a plug. You can get our books anytime, and they're all on our page, on our shopping page, and you can find that through the blog. All right, who else do we have here that we can take a couple of questions from? And I see a lot of you are asking. Well, here's one. Jerry Cornelius says, "How often do you run your generator on the LTV?" On our LTV, you're supposed to run it every month, at least a month. And they say for about an hour, a half hour, an hour is okay, and run it under load, meaning turn on the air conditioning, run the microwave a few times, put some power on it so it's under load. Now you ask about our LTV. This is the week we take it to be sold, and we are putting it up for sale. It's going to be at Holland Motorhomes in Holland, Michigan. And I don't know if I'll get it there tomorrow, but probably on Tuesday it will be there. We've taken all of our stuff out of it, and sadly, parting it, but we just aren't able to use it as much as we'd like, and it isn't good to just sit there in a driveway. So, although we've been able to use it up until just the last couple of weeks, we will be taking off right after the first year, and we'll be taking our Montana fifth wheel with us, and time to sell it. It's pretty hard to justify two of them, even though we have for a couple of years, but we are going to sell it, and it'll be at Holland Motorhomes in Holland, Michigan sometime this week. So, but run that generator, and that goes with anybody, Jerry, run it for a half hour. They call it exercising your generator. So give it a try. Bob Hoke says, maybe everybody knows this, but starting January 1st, Florida residents can make state park reservations 11 months out. You have to register your driver's license with the state. Yep. So nobody will abuse that. But yes, that's a big deal. It used to be, I think, 6 months out. You had to be. Of course, you got to be a Florida resident to do that. But that is a really good thing for all of you in Florida. Florida has such great state parks, and a whole bunch of them. But yes, that's a really good thing. It's too bad some of the other state parks around the country don't take reservations that far out, because it's hard to find a good spot. And people are getting used now to having to make reservations, even though we kind of hate it, and it takes away a lot from the serendipity travel that we like. Though you still can do a lot of that because of Harvest Host and boondocking. But there are some great state parks that are just hard to get in, and even 5 months out, they're booked. So thanks for the question and for the information, Bob. Jennifer mentioned stink bugs in the Pacific Northwest, says Silvana. Yes, there are a whole lot of them here. And it's a state bird says Jerry Cornelius. And I don't know, they don't last long. They kind of like climb around the ceiling, and then you hear plop and they drop dead. I'm having a lot of fun with a little vacuum, a little handheld vacuum. I just go suck them all up in there. And, but they're all, I don't know how they get in. I do not know how they get in. Johnny Lightning says he's going to be seeing us in Tampa. Hey, I do have, we are going to be doing 3 different meetups during the Tampa week. We'll be there all week. We may do 1 or 2 more, but we do have 3 set up. I don't know if I can remember them all now. Let's see. They're in the afternoon, and let's see, we're doing one on Wednesday, which is the opening public day, and that will be at, I think that's at Keystone RV. And then on Wednesday, we'll be doing a meetup at the Battleborn battery display. On Saturday, we'll be doing one at the Harvest Host display. And I think we've got one we've got to figure out on Thursday. So one on Wednesday, one Thursday. No, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday, one on Saturday, and then we're going to pick one up on Saturday. I will post those all in tomorrow's newsletter. If you get our newsletter, you should. Monday's the big one where we have a lot more material in it, and you get our daily updates, but our Monday one is our big one, and I'll post our Tampa schedule in the newsletter, and it'll be in your email box in the morning. So check that out. Robin Ostermeyer, would there be a weight limit for carrying Christmas presents in the shower? Yes, that's what we do with our Class Cs, don't we? We put everything in there. I think you would have to have hundreds of pounds of it. So you could easily figure you can put 300 pounds in there. Now, I wouldn't put maybe something that's going to slide around a lot, while you're driving, but I can't imagine you're going to have Christmas presents more than a couple 100 pounds. So you're fine. If you got something metal, I don't know if I'd like to put it in there, even if it's in a box and if it's sliding around a lot, but pack it in tight and you should be fine. Because, they have people get in the shower and use them. Zeddy Amor, can you explain the benefits of ham radio? Radios
are primarily used in disseminating information, but they can also be used in saving lives, protecting property.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Let's do it again. How did you do? Siri, what are the benefits of ham radio?
Here's what I found.
Oh, now she sends me a link. Okay. Isn't that bizarre? Don't you think that's spooky? Because I didn't say it. The phone is in my pocket of my hoodie here. See? And she just heard me say that. And that is scary. That is spooky scary. There's a couple of benefits. Probably a big part of it is a social benefit, just meeting other people, being in communications, having fellowship and conversations with people literally all over the world. This is my ham radio setup here. These are just some of the, they all send cards. These are called QSL cards, and these are cards that people send you when you make contact with them, and they're like little postcards. This is a destroyer, the USS Independence, that talked to a ham on that not long ago. And, so you get all these cards that come in, and it's really kind of fun. But, the practical thing is in the event of an emergency, for example, I guarantee right now, ham radio operators are all over Tennessee, helping in those communities that were devastated last night by those tornadoes in Tennessee. When there's a hurricane, when there's a natural disaster, and all the regular communication lines go by, this ham radio stuff stays forever there. You can get your contacts. I mean, I literally can talk. I talked the other day to somebody in Brazil. It's all off now, but I can turn it on. Somebody in Brazil, Greece, Sweden. This is all the people I've talked to just in the past couple of weeks, and it's pretty cool. And I don't know if you can hear any of this. So I don't know where they are. So there's a lot of people talk. Those that you're hearing there is like what they call a network, where a lot of the ham radio operators will get together at a certain time, at a certain place, on a certain frequency. For actual use by RVers going down the highway, emergency communications, it would be great, but it's not very good for just like finding out what your road conditions are over the next 10, 15 miles. A lot of people still use CB radios. A lot of people use another service called General Mobile Radio Service, which is little higher powered radios, kind of like CB, but there's not the noise and the congestion. I think it's more of a hobby. It's certainly for people who care about tinkering around with electronics, and there's so many things to learn, and in so many aspects of it. You do need a license for it. And I'm giving you way more information that probably 90% of the people want to hear. So I've been one since I was a little kid. like 13 years old when I first got it. I learned Morse code. You don't have to know Morse code anymore, but it's like a hobby. So it's more of a hobby, but in an emergency situation, it's great to know it's there. That was way too much information. Jeff Burke, will the salty conditions of Florida or any coastal state damage the undercarriage of an RV? Not as much as the salt on the roads in Michigan and in Minnesota and in Wisconsin will damage the undercarriage of an RV if you're driving. Sure, prolonged exposure to salt without washing it will cause some rust because there are stuff under that rust, but not anything that I think you have to worry about. Just do routine washing of your RV and go under there and squirt things down as best you can. Every week or two, and you don't have to spend a lot of time doing it, but it's not going to hurt it. If it sat there for months and months and years and it was wet underneath there, maybe, but I don't think you have to worry about that, Jeff. But just squirt it down, clean it. Bob Hoke says a non-resident can reserve 10 months out at a Florida state park. Well, that's going to help, Bob. I thought it was only 6 months. Maybe they just changed it, but that's a big help. 10 months is a lot better than 6 months. So good for them. Thank you for following up on that. Mike Rademacher, are you and Jen thinking of putting a destination RV on your Nashville property? Be a great fit. No, we're going to use our fifth wheel there. We're not going to get a destination RV. Our fifth wheel is, I'm getting more and more comfortable every time I take it out. And I'm really excited because our property, it's actually not in Nashville. It's west of Nashville. It's up on a little tiny mountaintop. I wouldn't call it a mountain, but they do down there, hills and hollers. But we're putting in a cement pad this week. It's getting poured, I think, on Tuesday. And we're doing some reconfiguration of our driveway a little bit. And I'm removing some of those loblolly pines so I have a little bit more room to spread out. As we think of the next phase of development of our property there at Loblolly Ridge is what we call our property, 5 acres near the town of Linden in Tennessee, but putting in a pad this week. Johnny Lightning, it's raining like crazy here in Valdosta, Georgia. If I come up missing, look for me at the Gulf because I floated away. Yeah, you must be on your way to Florida, Johnny. So, yep, Valdosta, just over the state line from Florida. Have a good trip down there and enjoy yourself. That's great. So that's about all. I want to just give you one more quick hit about these. If you want some of our stuff for Christmas, like particularly the hoodies or the t-shirts or the hats, order them in the next couple of days because really I'd order them. Just go do it tonight and be done with them because this is the crunch time for stuff that has to be printed up and packaged and clothing and apparel. And you want to get that in time for Christmas, you better get it ordered right now. And check out our books. Our books are downloadable anytime. Travel guides, we've got them for just about every region of the country and lots of places to check. And you can download those all at rvlifestyle.com/books. All right, so that's it. Coming up on the podcast this week, we will have an interview with Dave Kelly. Dave is the executive director of the Florida RV Super Show. And if you've never been to a really epic sized RV show, Tampa is the one to go. We always go usually to Tampa and Hershey. And it used to be there was one in California, and we went to the one in California all the time too, but that's sort of fallen away. But between Hershey and Tampa, they're both big, but I think Tampa is much more accessible and more fun. It's also pet friendly. It's outside. Come on, Florida in January. It's a pretty good deal for everybody on the northeast part of the country or in the northern states. Anyway, Dave is going to be there. He's going to tell us what's new in the show this week. And if you're thinking about going, what you need to know, we'll have a great time talking with Dave, and we invite you to tune into the podcast on Wednesday. New content every single day at rvlifestyle.com. That's our travel blog. And we invite you to check there. And also our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/rvlifestyle. So I think we're pretty much done. I don't see any other questions that have come through. See what happens. Okay. See what happens when Jennifer's not with me. I mean, nobody has, I don't want to hear from me. Sharon Childress, any plans for a spring get together? Maybe. Jennifer said the other day she wanted to go back to Nashville. We had such a good time in the fall, but don't hold me to that because Jennifer, wherever we were last is where she liked best. So I don't know. We're talking about spring. We're talking about fall. We do have our big one, which is July 22nd through August 17th. It's our tour of the Maritimes. That one is sold out, but there are always cancellations, and you can find that on our Facebook group, the information on that if you want, and you can get on a waiting list for it. But we usually do one in the spring and one in the fall, and I think we'll start a conversation on one of our online platforms asking people where we should do one in the spring and where we should do one in the fall, and then we'll take it from there and see what we can find out. So, but nothing yet, Sharon. We got a checklist of stuff we got to work through, and that's one of them that we'll have to decide. Bob Leach, are you ever going to Courtside again? Ever? I'd like to go this year, but I can't do everything. That's my problem. We will go back to Courtside once. I was going to go this year, and I do have to go to Arizona sometime in January for to check out one of these land developments. It's selling land to RVers. But you know, the difficulty of going from Michigan to Florida for the Tampa show, and then making my way all the way out to Arizona before all the festivities in Courtside ends at the end of January. That's a long stretch, and then to have to work a little south into Arizona, south of Vegas. That makes it tough too. So it's not going to be this year. I do want to get back there. It's just there's always this conflict between the Tampa RV show, which is kind of one of those must-attend things for the industry, and then the fun of Courtside, which is kind of a more of a social thing for us rather than a business thing. So, yes, I'd love to go back, but not this year, not next year, as it looks like. But who knows? I do have to get to Arizona sometime in January, and it might be just a quick flight out, and I get to borrow an RV for a few days, and we'll see how that goes. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys next Sunday night, our last one before the Christmas break. Hope you all are having a great time, and Jennifer appreciates all those well wishes that you guys sent our way. Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you, Chris. We'll see you all down the road, and if Jennifer's here, she would say it with me, everybody. Happy trails.